Hey, 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 and hey. So let's see how this goes, boys and girls. Because the last situation, it's not happening. And I don't like distractions. Because distractions are whack. But I'm back. I'm back. I don't know who's here. We're still gonna get started at about 7:30. You could chat. Let me know what is happening. And I hope I didn't interrupt anyone's evening. Let me pop the chat out. There we go. All right. So in the chat, who's here? Who's here? Who's here? You know. Two. Okay, we got two. Here we go. Can I tell you, boys and girls? Brother's gonna work it out. 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 Brother's gonna work the whole thing out. So, I'm back. And hopefully, you all are back. I ain't gonna tell you what software I'm using, believe it or not, but I could tell you what I'm not using, Ecamm. Don't know what happened there, but we'll see. So let's just wait for a few more of you all. You could comment in the chat and let me know if you're back. Again, I apologize for the last situation. Like I said, I was using new software. I thoroughly tested it, but sometimes, as they say, the best laid plans will fail, and that was an epic fail. Epic. And the irony of it all, see, gets back to one of my original points. Someone was debating me about usual preamp, which is better, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, listen, man, you can make a great recording on just about anything, even a little art, cheapy preamp. It doesn't make a difference. The equipment doesn't make a difference. And the irony of it all is that when I was using a webcam, I wasn't having this problem. Honestly, I was not having this problem with a webcam, So, everybody, you need to up your streaming game. Listen, man, sometimes the simplest point between A and B is a straight line, and that straight line is going to wind up being the webcam. So if y'all think it's, I need to up my production value, say so. I don't mind, because, I want to be able to do that. But at the same time, at the expense of being able to get through a live stream, nope, sorry, not going to do it. Not going to do it, because I can't keep getting distracted. But I see Mr. Smooth is back. I gotta go back to the webcam. Yo, I'm telling you, man, it's about to happen. It is about to happen, because this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm going through all these changes. But yeah, so I was hoping I had this grand, elaborate presentation, if you will, that I had put together through Ecamm. I mean, I really worked hard on this thing. Audio and everything, only for me to have to get back to basics. So let's just talk about it from this perspective. What did you all think of the comparisons between the four preamps, which were the Neve, the Focusrite Red, the ISA one, as well as the Warm Audio WA73. Let's talk about it from that perspective. Okay, and the title is not Studio Renovations Best Practices. I just used a quick template that I had up on YouTube for, the purposes of getting going, because I had this whole grand other thing planned. But with that in mind, what did you all think of the presentation in terms of the preamps? Give a brother some feedback, okay? And I'll wait. Okay. Mr. Smooth says he thinks they all sounded phenomenal. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree, but there's a caveat in there that I'm going to reveal shortly. Hey man, listen. I'm glad that you are here. I need you, partners. I need you to probably direct message me through the email provided on my About tab. There was something that you said to me, not bad. It was a good thing, and I just need to find out what you guys are into. Because I tried to look up some information on you and I couldn't find it. So I just want to find out, if you have a website or other information that I can peruse to find out a little bit more about who you are and what you do. Okay? But two were more open and brighter. I really wish that there was a way. I'm going to find a way in a minute to add some audio to this. But maybe I'll play the audio through. I'm going to have to go manual. I have the audio here on my desktop, and maybe I'll just go ahead and hit it there. But you said two were more bright, open and brighter, and the other two were more creamy and plush. Yes. And of all the four preamps, the characteristics of two of them were pretty much the same, that being the Neve as well as the Warm Audio WA73. And the other two, the Focusrite Red and the Focusrite Icer, have similar topologies in terms of design. So, yeah, to your point, the Focusrite sounds similar, as do the Neve with the Warm Audios, because of the way of the design. So yes, definitely to your point. So Mr. Smooth says A was the Neve or Warm, and the B was the Red or Icer one. Okay. All right. And any other takers on what the preamps were? There were four of them. The Neve 1073 LB, the Focusrite Icer 1, the Focusrite Red, as well as the Warm Audio WA73 EQ. Okay, C was the Warm with the Neve, and D was the Icer 1 of the Red. Okay. All right. I'm waiting to be shocked. Yo, I was shocked. Honestly. I think, well, I won't say I was shocked. I take that back. It was interesting to see the manufacturer that went into each and every preamp. And I'm saying a lot, but there was something that was said to me a long time ago about the design element of any Rupert Neve product. And I found that to be very, very, very true. And it's true of I would imagine of any high end, like a Manley compressor. When a company is building a product, I think it's important, if you're going to pay premium for the product, it's important that attention is being paid to the components going in the product. And I'm going to get into that in a minute in a more deeper way. But Partner says, I will go for B anytime, and it has such depth. Okay. All right. Now, I told everybody at 7:30, so we're going to just hang out for a little bit more to see who pops back on. It's now 7:32, so I'm giving everybody a little bit more time. But yeah, and the importance of manufacture can't be stressed more. And you expect that, when you're buying an expensive product. I mean, any expensive item. One of my favorite cars is the Dodge Viper. And the first Vipers, they were very light in terms of interior aesthetic, but all the technology went into the power of the car. It was a true muscle car with a V10 engine, as well as the horsepower to boot. So a manufacturer can pay, like a Ferrari, full attention to detail down to paint color, as well as performance, or in terms of the Viper, all of the attention to detail went into what the car can, how the car performs, and less to the first Vipers that came out in '92. Less attention to detail was paid on the interior. It was all plasticky, you know, the parts were plasticky, you know, and it didn't even have the handles on the doors, you know. So it tells you where the design element went. It went towards the performance of the car as opposed to the interior aesthetic of the car. And the same rules apply when you're buying a piece of expensive equipment. You want to know that a manly compressor is going to perform the way you expect a manly compressor to perform, you know. And the like goes with any other high-end piece of gear, which was why I was also disappointed in the fact that when I purchased my Dynaudio, you know, I paid what, $1,300, $1,400 for the pair, $2,000 with the sub, and then, you know, after about 7 or 8 years of hard work, they gave up the ghost. They died, you know. You expect to have support from a company that is putting out a premium product, and then you turn around, you can't get that. So it renders the piece of equipment useless. So let's just wait another 2 minutes, and I'm going to get into the big reveal. Okay. But my take on it was very, very surprising. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. So let's just wait 2 more minutes. Hope you guys can hang out with me for a second. Anybody else here? So, without further ado, Preamp A. Leonessa Band, yo, what's up? You right on time, because I was just about to do the big reveal. If you are listening to I had something else planned, but you know, that's another story for another time. Preamp A was the Focusrite Focusrite Red 1. Lusky V, what's up? If you're just joining me, the first preamp I revealed in the demonstration from the previous video, which was this one. Preamp A was the Focusrite Red 1. So, with regards to the Focusrite, I mean, he said that's a shocker. Yeah, I was shocked too. I was told by a friend of mine who was into classical chamber ensemble recording that he liked the Red 1 because there was a consistency in the manufacture of it, and the simplicity of manufacture in that it had stepped gain in 6 dB increments, and the topology of it was the Lund hole on the input, and it has a Carnhill on the output, you know. And the Brits really, like, there was the group, I forget the name, the British group, it'll come back to me in a minute, loved the design of the preamp because of the fatness you got on the back end, as well as the clarity on the input from and that's that Lund hole transformer on the input. So Preamp A was the Focusrite Red 1, and again, in pairs, they are by far, when I was doing this demonstration, by far the single most consistent pair of preamps that you can use in a stereo situation. For instance, if you had to use them for drum overheads, you can be sure that there's a consistency between both preamps regardless of when they were manufactured. Now, Preamp B was the Neve 1073 LB. Yes, that in more than one instance, you see, when before, when I did the comparison between the WA73 and the Neve 1073 LB, I was using the online, like you get demo recordings in my Roland synth. So this time I'm playing live through it, and there was a difference that I noticed in the mids. You see, it's one thing, you could pass it off to, oh well, this is a demo on the chip, and what they give you in the Roland piano and the Roland synth as a demo recording, that's what you get. But when you're playing, it's a whole other animal. When you strike certain keys a certain way, you may get more overtone, especially with time-like pianos like the Rhodes. You're going to get a certain overtone from the keys when you hit them harder or softer in some instances. That Neve 1073 responded in the mids very well throughout soft passages that you could play, or throughout longer ones. Or louder ones, I should say. And the consistency of its ability to capture all of the transient detail is by far the best that I've experienced with probably any other preamp. Sometimes I think we just overlook detail when we're recording, or when we're just demoing, or we don't pay attention. But when you're deliberate about trying to pay attention to certain nuances that an instrument can give you, that's when you start to become nitpicky about what you're hearing, and what you're hearing, when, how, and why is it responding in this particular way, whether I hit the key hard or soft. So the second Preamp B, was the Neve 1073 LB. Preamp D, I skipped over C, was the Focusrite ISO 1. And Preamp C, of course, by process of elimination, was the Warm Audio WA73 EQ. Now, I can't see you live. What's going on? Trusty said, can't see me? B Smith is here. Okay. I can't see you live. What's going on? I'm here. Mr. Smooth, he's at a loss for words. Yes. Back to my original point. A, the Focusrite Red. B, the Neve. C was the Warm Audio WA73 EQ. And D was the Focusrite ISO 1. Now, what did I take away from this whole thing? Again, someone said to me a long time ago about the consistency of manufacture of Neve products. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware that Rupert Neve is responsible for the Focusrite product line. That is all, and the Red one is still manufactured in England. Okay, well, not anymore. They discontinued the product, but the Red one is still manufactured in England. The products that were available once upon a time, you know, in the 500 series format. Now, the disappointment that, I won't say disappointment. I take that back. I wasn't disappointed, but I was kind of shocked. And here's a confessional on my part. About 2 years ago, I did a video on the Warm. Now, you guys know I love the Warm, and this is full disclosure. I am not on their payroll. I am not endorsed by Warm. All of the Warm equipment that I own, I purchased with my own money. So I'm being somewhat critical and giving of information for those of you who want to use this preamp in a stereo situation or setup in your studio. 2 years ago, I did one of the first, and I think the best or most viewed video on my channel, a review of the Warm Audio WA73 EQ. Prior to it being released, I got wind of it at the AES, and it was released the following year in February. I got one of the first units off the assembly line, I am assuming. Okay? I said I'm gonna give it a year, and I wanted to really put it through its paces and see exactly what it was about. You know, you guys know I will open it up, looked at it. The build on it was great. Okay, sounded great. Did the first session with one of the first paces I put it through was recording Melody Ray. You guys can go back and view the video if you want, etc., etc. Fast forward 1 year later, they are $100 off at Sweetwater for the Christmas holiday. I purchased the second one. Shortly thereafter, the high frequency, I guess, EQ. I don't know if they actually, you know, use the right type or topology, Neve topology in terms of the design for the EQ. But nevertheless, I started experiencing, you know, some problems with the EQ not dialing in. I would turn the 10K, okay, 12K was invisible, 16K, or the highest of the three was invisible. Call the guy back, no problem. I said, also, I noticed that the low end and the mid EQ, the knobs are a little hard. They're concentric knobs, one inside the other. I said, the gain knobs are a little stiff. They was like, oh, well, you know, that is, you know, a loop that they use in the factory for the actual, I think they're Elmco switches. I'll get the correct pronunciation on it. And they take a while to get broken in. I gave it a minute. Take this one back, send me a new one. Fast forward to the previous video where I compared the two. Everyone said, I kept getting this comment, hey, there's a phasing that's going on with the left and right channels. Now, full disclosure, I don't think it was a phasing issue, but I do think that there is a slight difference in the manufacture between the first units that came off the assembly line and the second units. Fast forward from the Neve 1073 WA73 video to the comparison. It happened again. Someone commented in like fashion, hey, I think there's something up with the phasing. It's not phasing. Now, what are you talking about, Warren? Why are you saying all that I'm saying? The reason why I'm so long-winded with this is this. When you are sourcing parts, you know, to build anything, let's say a house, for instance, so that everyone understands. I'm not going to talk about electronics. I'll say a house. When you are sourcing lumber for a house, you know, you want the most straightest lumber, because if you don't frame your house with the best lumber, the potential for it to be strong, you know, diminishes. I believe the second round of manufactured products coming off of the warm, out of the warm line, whether they went to China and checked the manufacturer down to the components that went inside, line by line by line by line, I think they might have kind of skipped over, you know, double checking the second batch of cookies that came out. My first one I bought is pristine. Everything on it functions perfectly. There's no problems. I have not had problems since day number one. I have owned it for the last 3 years in February. Here it is. This unit that I demoed with, using them in stereo pairs, you cannot buy independent pairs, and unless they are number 1 and 2 right off the same assembly line, and expect the same result. If you intend to use them in that fashion, I would say it would be better for you to purchase the WA273 EQ, so this way, all of the components probably were all sourced and installed at the same time during the manufacture, so that you avoid any differences in sound quality. Phase is not the issue. I take that back. I'm going to take that back. The reason why I'm not going to discount nor diminish the comment or the commenter who said that they suspected phase. I'm not looking at phase from the point of, like phase or phase cancellation, when two waves cancel one another and then you get a null point. The only way for me to truly say that both of these units, the first unit I bought and the second, are equal, is to put an oscilloscope or put them on a bench and bench test each and every board in the in both units, and get the readout from each and every board in order to say, hey, you know what? These are identical pieces. But something is telling me that there was a problem between the first units that were manufactured by Warm and the second and third and fourth generations that came off the assembly line. There was no consistency of manufacture from the first and second generations. So I'm saying a lot, but the point is that when you are buying equipment, it is important for you to understand that if you're going to buy two of anything, make sure that there's a quality that went into the manufacture. That is something that Focusrite, whether it was the ISA 1 or the Red, both of them performed similarly, with maybe the ISA 1 just a tad bit off in terms of the ability to closely track left and right channels. No problem with the Focusrite Red, no problem with the Neves, and very little, issue with the Focusrite ISA 1. Huge problems in terms of left and right compatibility with the Warm audio. So, for those of you who wanted to use two WA73 EQs in a left and right stereo configuration, I would say get a 273 EQ, and make sure when you get it home, you put a stereo source through it in order to confirm that both the left and right channels are, outputting the same exact signal in terms of frequency content. You have to do that. I struggled, I'm not going to lie to you, in terms of getting them both to be agreeable. I mean, I'm running tones through this thing, a 1K tone, lining it up in Pro Tools perfectly to minus 18 dB FS, and then turn around, you record it, and it's tracking differently. So sometimes, it's an uphill battle, in terms of trying to find two totally compatible pieces of equipment, which is why you will never see me do the Valley preamps that I have, because they were manufactured at different times. which I know is going to give you a different sound quality, you know, because of the Valley 400 and the 401 that I own. They're just not the same, you know, and not even manufactured at the same time. So with that in mind, let's jump forward and let's look at some questions. And our partner says, great info about the consistency in products for thus in products for us who are looking for paired preamps. Yes. Yeah. It's important, man. And if you, I'm sure if you've been around, any of you have been around a studio or studio situations any duration of time, you know that most pro studios will purchase everything in twos. You know, for as a fail safe for one, and as a stereo pair in a pinch if you need to use it like that. You know, but if the units are not consistently manufactured, you know, so, you know, maybe Warren will address that at some point or another, or maybe not. Who knows? You know, I don't know. But I do know that there was an inconsistency between Generation 1 and Generation 2 items that was released. So, you know, let the buyer beware. Del Mixed it said, yeah, consecutive serial numbers. Yes, that's my point right there. You know, if you know you're getting serial number 1 and serial number 2, then you know they came off the same assembly line. You can be sure that there's a consistency there. But, you know, Gen 1 and Gen 2 stuff coming out, it's like, oh, wow. And I bought the second one a whole year later after auditioning the first one. You know, so. Trusty Studio says, I sold my WA-1073 and got the 6176 is a nice piece of kit, man. That's a workhorse preamp. That's a workhorse preamp. You get both the 1176 compressor and the 610 all in one unit. Yeah, that's a good acquisition, man. Yep. And let's jump. Okay. Yo, the DJT pulled to stop the steal. Does signing 19 executive orders portray Biden as more of a dictator than Trump? Yo, you whack. You need to get up off my channel. And I'm about to block you right now. So watch this, B. That's whack. Don't come on this channel being stupid, all right? Let's mind our manners. Let's be respectable, y'all. Let's be respectable. All right? Y'all better behave. Come up with some stupid stuff, man. I don't know. I be fielding nonsensical foolishness all the time, yo. Like last week. All right, y'all want to know a story? I got a story for you. You know, I love my plumber. He goes like, yo, man, I need some work done. Okay, look at, yeah, man, you have a problem with your leak. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, no kidding. That's why I called you, B. All right. Yeah, but, have you noticed that? I'm like, I'm calling you the professional. You're supposed to take care of this. So he's like, I can fix it for you, but you're going to have to change out the whole fixture. I'm like, what? I got to rip open the whole bathroom wall just to change a shower fixture? Yeah, take out 1, 2, and 2 down and 4 across. So I called my man, and this is to the point of equipment as well, the manufacturer of the part. So I called customer service. I was like, yo, you know, I just got off, you know, the plumber just left here the contract. And he's like, in order for me to repair this item, I'm going to have to rip out the wall. Now, this is a company that stands by their product. And this is what I like about certain manufacturers that will stand by their product. The guy goes like, yo, that's absolute nonsense what he told you. That brass part is in the wall will outlive both you and me, part 2. He said, for you to repair this thing, it's going to cost you about $5. I was like, what? Now here's, I'm about to pay this dude crazy and an insane amount. I got to get the wall retiled. The man stood by his thing. He's like, I'm telling you, this is not above your pay grade. You buy this part, buy that part, buy this wrench, and you're done. I repaired the thing for about $8. So whereas I was faced with having to spend a lot of money, you know, and the company stands by their product, you know, going back a few live streams, if you all know what company I'm talking about, when I was saying, you know, when you have an issue with the equipment that you are using, you need to be able to call customer services and say, I have a problem. How do I get this problem rectified? You know, and they ought to be able to give you concise, direct information as to how to get your problem resolved, especially if you're a professional, you know. So yes, to back to my original point about having a good customer service base and good manufacture in your equipment is bar none. It's bar none. You can rest easy when you take it on the gig, you know. But imagine if I had to take these two, going back to the warm audio thing, if I had to use them as in a stereo situation for a client, and then it turns out that they're not tracking left and right properly. How do you explain that away? You can't. Who do you call? Warm has a pretty good technical support area, but all they're going to do is tell you to send it back and they're going to replace it. That doesn't answer your question or solve your technical issue from an audio perspective, you know. So look for that. I mean, some people say that, all right, you know what? Y'all gonna have to stop with the political talk, all right? Knock it off. I'm serious, honestly. I don't want to have to block nobody. All right, so y'all need to stop. All right, see, now you getting blocked, B. What's wrong with people, man? But back to my I'm gonna put you back on in a little while, but if you come back on with nonsense, I'm blocking you from the channel. All right? So stop. Got people on the channel acting silly now. I don't have time for that. No patience. All right, so come in hijacking the channel with stupid stuff. What did you miss? Links for Life? You missed the reveal with Preamp A being the Focusrite Red, Preamp B being the Neve 1073LB, Preamp C was the Warm Audio WA73 EQ, and Preamp D was the Focusrite ISA 1. So, yes, it was a shock to many, but I was on my little spiel about, you know, how surprised I was at the inconsistency of manufacture from Gen 1 Warm Audio WA73 EQs to the same one I purchased a year later. I was really shocked at that. So, but Les Deha Soul said, I'm the type that doesn't like unreliable tools. Yes. Yeah, man, because what if you're in the middle of a gig, man? You in the middle of a gig? Jesus. That's not cool. And I had that happen. You know, a friend of mine loaned me a preamp, and it was a golden age project. I was like, okay, I'll give anything a shot. You know, I'd rather have too many tools going into a gig than not enough. He said, like, yeah, just give it. So it was a very well respected vocalist. I won't call her name. You know, it's not important. But, you know, I had the thing up on the mic, and it went on the blink in the middle of the take. I snatched that thing right out. I was like, take that back and put something reliable in its place. You can't have your tools failing on you, you know? You can't, you know, because you're going to give that money back. And if it's a pay gig, you're embarrassed behind that. You know, so, you know, whereas I understand the mission of certain companies putting out premium product that, you know, to fill a demand from a certain demographic, consumer-wise, you know, in terms of home studio owners, you know, maybe it's less of a stress for a home studio owner, but a pro, you know, you might have to pay a little bit of extra money just to make sure you have that peace of mind, you know? And plus, it's a selling point when you're meeting with a client. You know, you could tell them, hey, listen, I have the most reliable tools of many of my competitors, you know? So what are you selling in the end? You know, is what it gets down to. So let's get forward. Links for Life, just getting in. Okay, got you, brother. Inner partner says, I checked out the AML products. They have the 1081s. Man, they sound great and have great prices. That's true. You know, I have to check them out. You see, with me, when it comes to certain manufacturers, what I will do, I'll give you a shot, but to the point of Golden Age products. What happened was, okay, I put it on the side during the gig, but when I got it back to the studio, I opened that thing. It was a live gig too. I opened it up and I looked inside and I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, there's no wonder this thing is whack. No wonder it died. The components that were inside of it were lower grade and lower quality, you know, period. So, you know, to your point, I've heard a lot about AML, but I would like to, you know, open it up and see what's on the inside, you know, and, you know, if it's, you know, quality stuff, then sonically sounds great. Like BAE, you know, these guys, it's handmade equipment, but the components that are sourced are great components, you know, so you can't beat that with a bat, you know. Bout Stacks, what's hizzy? Yo, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. And, oh, okay, Inner Partner says they're made in the UK. The old engineers say, oh, really? Oh, they worked for Neve and found this info. Oh, really? Okay. All right, thanks for the information. I'm going to check them out then. You know, it's a lot of the Neve crew, I think Malcolm Toft is one of them, and there are several other engineers that sat at his feet that are, you know, I think, don't get me wrong, one of Audient, the one of the owners of Audient, guys can fact check me out, I might have heard incorrectly, but I thought one of them, before he founded Audient, he was at DDA and he had some affiliation with the Neve product as well. So a lot of these guys, you know, were trained and learned well under Rupert Neve, who was an absolute genius in terms of design, you know. So yeah, to your point. Mo Styles, did I miss the review? Yes, you did, brother, but for Mo Styles, who is back, and I appreciate you, brother, for being here, I will say it again. Preamp A was the Focusrite Red. Preamp B was the Rupert Neve, or rather the AMS Neve 1073 LB. Preamp C, to somewhat of a disappointing performance, was the Warm Audio WA73 EQ, and Preamp D was the Focusrite ISA 1. So, yes, sir. That's the review. Warren, does the LB on the Neve stands for lunchbox? Yes, it does. And BAE sounds great. Yes, it does. Apogee Symphony Desktop SSL6. What do you think of them for the home producer? You know, I like it. I find it a bit pricey though. You know, as much as I like Apogee products, it's like insanely priced, some of it, you know. I think the best, if you want the Apogee clarity, the best is the Element. You know, I like the Element. So, he said the stimulus money is burning a hole. Should I pull? Y'all are funny, man. Yo, save it for a rainy day, B. You know, you got stimulus money burning a hole in that pocket, right? Yeah, man. But check out the Element. You know, I heard that and I was really impressed. It's a little scaled back and simple looking, but the power and the clarity is that Apogee sound. So you might like that. You know, y'all are funny. He said if money burn a hole, man. That sound like my father. He used to say, your money burn a hole in your pocket, right? Yeah, man. But Mr. Smooth says, nah, bro, don't spend it on that Pay your bill. Yeah, do that, man. You know, I say do that first, B. You know, take care of home, and then everything else falls in place. But so yes, sir. Let's see. Bowstack says, okay. So, in conclusion, what was my takeaway? The warm audio is still a good unit in certain circumstances, you know. And I'm gonna put this out there as well for those that are wanting to compare the BAE, the Neve 1073LB, the Heritage Audio, you know, 500 series line, as well as warm audio. Each of those units sound different from one another, period. And I've heard all four, period. So, you know, if you want the Neve sound and you need the Neve sound, buy a Neve, period. However, any of the remaining competitors will give you or put you in proximity of that sound for, you know, not so much money, you know. But if the purity and the truth that you're going to get from a Neve preamp is what you're looking for, then you should buy an AMS Neve 1073. And right now, with the way they're pricing things, I don't know if you've noticed, they have like about 3 or 4 lines that are so competitively priced, you know, with what's out in the market. It almost makes sense if you're going to spend $700-800 on one of the other competitors. You might as well put $300 more and just buy the Neve, you know. So their marketing department got their good eye on what's going on, you know. So keep that in mind as well. And Mr. Smooth says he's waiting on his AMS 1073 SPX, and that's a nice preamp too. I heard that thing is killing, you know. So let's wrap it, boys and girls, or ladies and gents. And I will say it again for those of you who missed the big reveal. Preamp A was the Focusrite Red. Okay. Preamp B was the AMS Neve 1073 LB. Okay. Preamp C was, to some measure of disappointment, the warm audio W873 EQ, for other reasons that are, you know, particular to me. Your mileage may vary. And Preamp D was the Focusrite ISA 1. With that, oh, who is this? Chris Irwin Davis. Listen, you just caught my eye. I want to ask you a question really quick, so please hang around. Those are the 4 that I use. And Chris Irwin Davis, can you tell me if you had any affiliation with a studio called Calliope? And just let me know in the comments, please. I'd appreciate it. So, any other questions? And Chris Irwin Davis did say, even with high quality manufacturers that use consistent, tight tolerances, components, units with age over time. Yep. Units with age over time, you know, as, you know, I guess the sound changes is your point, you know, as they get burned in over time. But yes, Chris Irwin, please tell me if you are the guy, because I met a Chris Irwin some time ago. He was real cool brother. Real cool, man. You know, I was some wide-eyed kid, and a friend of mine, Greg Hill from the Delphonics said, oh yeah, you gotta, I did my demo with this guy Chris Irwin at Calliope, you know, so I need to know if you are the Chris Irwin, who's a heck of a human being. So, you know, it's what you do to a person that they remember, you know, and you were real cool if you're the same guy. I don't know, But everybody give Chris Irwin, who is new to the live stream, a big shout out. Say what's up. And Inno Partner says, thanks for the great info. And Inno Partners, please do get in touch with me through the email on my About page. I would like to connect with you because you did mention something in a previous stream, and I would like to, talk with you about that. And DSO, about sex. Okay, Apogee 70, Links for Life says, what's up, Chris? Mr. Smooth says, what's up, Chris Irwin Davis? And Apogee can be flaky on Windows. Yeah, that's another thing, man. Yeah, dude, I don't know if you all saw my last live stream about the horror stories I had being clever, updating my operating system when I got the Orion. Nightmare. It took almost like a week to get that problem resolved. So, computers can be a little fickle when you start introducing new stuff to them and you got other things that need to talk to it in a particular way. So keep that in mind when you're updating. All right. I'm still waiting on Chris Irwin Davis's response to see if he is the dude. Oh, Mr. Pirate Brain, I done ran it down, bro. I'm about to shut it off. Then I had to shut somebody down up on the channel, getting crazy, man, talking some stupid political nonsensical foolishness, man. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. You should have called me when I would have took it. Yo, man. Y'all don't know, man. Brother be getting hate mail like it's nobody. Love this channel. Chris Irwin, bro, you gotta tell me if you the dude, man. I'm still waiting. Did you work at Calliope? I picked up my Heritage single rack Really? Oh, yo, Heritage got this new unit out. It's about $2,500 though. Yeah, but they're doing things, man. They got a channel strip out. Yeah, man, it's real cool. Yeah, Heritage. And there's a couple of studios I know downtown that are using Heritage units a lot. I've been hearing a lot of good things. It's just that when I had my unit, I want my equipment to function in a particular way. I'm like, when you're in the middle of being creative, you want to be able to bam and go, and I just found the design of it not, conducive to the way I like to work, and the warm audio at the time, had front and back panel connectors. So, when you have a way that you like to work, that was, a deal breaker for me with the Heritage. But like I said, John Kilgore, who is one of the top tracking engineers in New York at John Kilgore Sound downtown, does a lot, Grammy-winning guy. He has a few installed in his studio, the Heritage units, and he loves them. So, everybody's mileage may vary when it comes to this equipment. So, it's all good. But this is Mr. Smooth, okay, waiting on the channel strip from Sweetwater to test it out. Okay, yeah. If Mr. Smooth, you gotta let me know, man, how that works out. But I would imagine it must sound great. It's just that I know that it has the design of the Neve 609 compressor, which can be a little bit grabby. It's very grabby at times. It's a dial bridge compressor, so you might have to be very judicious in your dealing it in and dealing it in and out. So, but with that in mind, I appreciate everyone for being here. Bearing with me for a minute. As I transitioned from, ironically, Ecamm to, guess what I'm on now? OBS. So go figure that one out. Like I said, sometimes, equipment can be so fickle. But Ecamm, webcam. Mr. Smooth said, get that webcam. I'm about to break it out again. But listen, so far OBS ran without a hitch, and maybe OBS saved me that subscription money when it comes to Ecamm. So who knows? We'll see. But Yes, this was good. I appreciate everyone. Again, I want to get back to, I don't want to be rude and not say thank you to you all for returning to the live stream. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking your time out of your schedule to sit here and listen to me blab and, shut people down who want to come on the channel talking political nonsensicalness. And Lionel, thanks for not blocking me. Loved it. Leoness event. Come on, man. You can't be doing that. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Don't come on the channel. You can be cool. I don't mind. Y'all commenting, but you cannot come on this channel doing stuff like that. Okay, so let's just be clear on that. Let's just be clear. Okay, I'm nice, but then I can get evil too. So let's not get the evil warrant out. All right, I'm not blocking you, brother, right now, but be nice when you come to the channel. Say what's up to people like the legendary Chris Irwin Davis, the legendary Mr. Smooth, Links for Life, as well as Mr. Pirate Brain himself. Say what's up to them, and we all will leave this place loving one another. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe and say hello to the family for me. Thanks, guys, for stopping in.